Good day, students. Today we are in the 11th lecture for the laboratory course Fiber and Yarn Quality Evaluation. It is also a part of the theory course Textile Quality Evaluation. In this lecture, we are going to see on the topic textile testing the various methods that are used for fiber, yarn, and fabric. It gives an overview of the various methods used for fiber tensile testing, yarn tensile testing, and fabric tensile testing. So we have three materials that are part of our textile products. The fiber is the raw material for yarn manufacturing. Yarn is the raw material for fabric manufacturing. So we'll see what are the methods available for fiber, yarn, and fabric tensile testing. So with regard to fiber strength, there are two types of fiber testing that is available. The first is the single fiber strength testing. And the single fiber strength, as we know, only one single fiber is taken and tested. A very small, fine, short, or long single fiber is used for tensile testing. Usually, this is done for synthetic fibers. Long fibers are taken, and continuous fibers are taken and tested for single fiber strength testing. For bundle fiber strength, a bunch of fibers are taken for tensile testing. A flat bunch of fibers are taken for tensile testing. Single yarn, and when you go to yarn strength, there is single yarn strength, skein strength, which means it is a least strength, a bunch of yarns, and yarn impact strength. Yarn impact strength can be done for a single fiber, single yarn, which is a very heavy yarn, like a rope or a strong yarn, and for other bunch of yarns also. So yarn impact can be done for single heavy yarn or a bunch of yarns together also. Yarn impact testing can be done. Next is fabric testing. In fabric testing, the common tests that are done are strip test, raveled strip test, and grab test. So we have a strip, which means a thin fabric in a bigger jaw. Thin fabric in a bigger jaw can be used for testing. And in ravel strip method, the edges of the fabric are raveled and used for testing. In grab test, the fabric width is longer and the jaw width is small. You grab the fabric. So grabbing, this is the jaw, this hand is the jaw, and this is the fabric, and the fabric with this width of the fabric is longer, and here you can see the jaw holding it. So this is grab test. So these are the common tests done for tensile test done for fabric. Apart from this, for the fabric, you can do the tear strength also. Okay. So these are the various tensile tests that are done for fiber, yarn, and fabric. Apart from this, there are other tests also available. So in single fiber strength, the instruments you have for single fiber strength testing, universal tensile tester is commonly used. Universal tensile tester means a common testing instrument, a CRE principal instrument. The instrument works behind constant rate of extension, which is used for testing the fiber, yarn, or fabric. The jaw is different. For fiber, there is a different jaw. Yarn, there is a different jaw, and for fabric, there is a different jaw. So this instrument works behind CRE principle, for which there is a strain gauge used for the measurement of the load applied. The load applied is measured using a strain gauge. So, and the fiber jaws are used if it is a single fiber strength testing. Usually it is done for synthetic fibers. Next is the bundle fiber strength testing. The stellometer is an instrument commonly used for bundle fiber strength testing. And this works under the principle of constant rate of loading. This is the only instrument available in our laboratory for constant rate of loading with pendulum lever. So it has a pendulum, and in which there is a pendulum and a beam. which are used for holding the jaws, and it works behind CRL principle. Next is Priestley tester. This is one more tester used for the fiber bundle strength testing. Priestley tester is also available, but it is not in a perfect working condition. So the one which you use for bundle fiber strength testing is telometer in the laboratory experiment. Priestley test is available. You can have a view of that instrument. Both the jaws are similar for a stellometer as well as Priestley tester. A flat bundle of fibers, a bunch of fibers is used for bundle fiber strength testing. Usually cotton fibers are used here. Bundle fiber strength testing is usually preferred in spite of a single fiber strength testing, because in for yarn spinning, in a yarn there are bunch of fibers rather than a single fiber. So the bundle fiber strength correlates better with the yarn strength. You can predict the yarn strength with the fiber parameters, and the bundle fiber strength parameter is a better indicator of your yarn strength. So usually bundle fiber strength is performed for cotton fibers and is used for predicting the yarn strength also. So next is one more instrument for inclined plane tester is also used, which is not available in our laboratory. And next instrument which are usually used in industry practice for testing all the parameters, not only strength, length, fineness, strength, color, maturity of all the parameters are tested. A high volume of parameters, more voluminous parameters are tested using high volume instruments. So in that there are various modules. One is the strength module, in which you can find the strength of the fiber. Here also the bundle of fibers are tested. This HUA instrument strength tester works under CRE principle, and wherever it is CRE, there will be strain gauge for the measurement of the load or force that is applied on the specimen. So these are the methods and instruments and their principles behind fiber strength testing. Each one will look into details. Stellometer is the one that is there in the laboratory experiment, and HUA is also a part. At the end, all the parameters can be tested using HUA. So next is yarn strength testing. Yeah, in yarn strength testing, you have single yarn strength, skein or lee strength, impact strength. In impact, you can use single yarn, which is a very strong yarn, or a group of yarns. So the first single yarn strength testing, you have CRT type instrument. You have CRT type instrument, constant rate of traverse. Always constant rate of traverse will come along with the pendulum lever type instrument. And next is CRE type instrument, constant rate of extension instrument, in which the load measurement is using the strain gauge. So this CRE type instrument, there are standalone instruments. An instrument only for testing of yarn is also available, which is mentioned as standalone instrument. And universal tensile testers. Universal tensile testers has all the jaws for single yarn, lee, fiber, and many other materials also can be tested with the universal tester. In that, if you use the yarn jaw, then you can do the single yarn strength testing. So next is skein strength or lee strength. We have CRT type instrument, constant rate of traverse instrument, which is behind pendulum lever, similar to single yarn strength testing. The jaws and the setup is slightly different, but the principle behind this instrument and both the instruments are the same for single yarn and for skein or lee. And CRE type instruments are also there, similar. These two instruments are similar, the jaw is different. So this instrument, this standalone instruments look differently, entirely differently, whereas these two are one and the same. The jaw alone is different for the universal testers. So we have standalone instruments and universal instruments also. Next is the yarn impact strength tester done for the yarns, which is a part of our experiment. So we have a pendulum with ballistic principle. There is a pendulum which gives the impact load for the sample that is tested. The sample may be single yarn or a group of yarns. Anything can be tested in that. So these are the yarn related experiments. Next is the fabric related instruments. So for strip test, we have pendulum lever instrument, which is behind CRT principle, and CRE instrument also we have, which works on strain gauge principle. Next is ravel strip test. This also, the same instrument you can test strip or ravel strip. The sample is only different. The instrument remains the same. In here, here also the instrument remains the same. In both, the top instrument remains the same. The sample looks different. The sample size is different. Preparation is slightly different. CRE type instrument, this instrument is the same. The jaw is also the same, but this is the sample that we are holding is different. Raveled strip is on strip. So strip is 12 into 2 inch sample size. The width is 2 inches and the length of the sample is 12 inches. Whereas in ravel strip method, the length is the same, 12 inches, and the width is 2.5 inches. The half inch is raveled. The quarter on the right side and quarter on the left side, it is removed and used for testing. Next is the graph test. This also, the instrument is common, but the jaw is different for the graph test. The instrument, the instruments are common. For these two, jaw is also the same, only the sample is different. Whereas for the graph, the sample is different and also the jaw is different. So these are the various fabric tensile testing instruments that we will look into.